Segment 3. So Jamie Kalven from the Invisible Institute over near the University of Chicago area, he wrote a piece recently in The Intercept. I'll show you it here. And it's basically, it mostly focuses on ShotSpotter. Actually, I'm not sure exactly 100% what this thing focused on. It seemed very rushed to me. And it was definitely below what you would normally see from Jamie. That's for sure. Now, let me just say right from the beginning, ShotSpotter, the technology mostly sucks. I'm not arguing that. Jamie Kalven, he's right on that. It sucks. It's been a wide variety of cities have adopted it, a wide, some lesser number of them have dumped it. Many of them. So I'm not defending ShotSpotter. But once again, which is so common in police reform and politics, we're calling for a reform that would make no difference in the Adam Toledo shooting. No difference. Don't listen to the bullshit. No difference. Okay, so let me give you a quote. All right, first of all, ShotSpotter claims, according to Kalven, and I believe it, no reason to doubt it, a 97% accuracy rating on their website. As Kalven says, total bullshit. That's a lie. And 97, what does that mean? It's a technology. ShotSpotter is a technology, like an acoustic system. They set up in certain areas of the city, and this in the south and west side. And it basically alerts cops through a message, almost instantaneous, to a shooting. The problem is, it has a relatively, although we don't actually have real hard numbers, it has a relatively high rate of false positives. Means it gets the numbers, but they have no idea. It gets the sound and it says, boom, it's a shooting, and cops rush to the scene, but a lot of times it's fireworks, a car backfiring, it could be all kinds of things. So ShotSpotter's numbers are bullshit. So let's get that right in the beginning. Okay, here's a quote from the article, Kalven's article. Now, Kalven is quoting what must be insider news, insider numbers he got somehow from the MacArthur Foundation, who is releasing a report this week. I don't think it said that in the article. I found out because I emailed Kalven and Jonathan Maines. It was how I think you pronounce him, Jonathan. I hope I'm getting your name right, from the MacArthur Center, and said, hey, I want a copy of that study, where Kalven got his numbers, and Jonathan got back to me right away on Saturday and said, we are publishing this coming week, and I'll send you one when it's done. Awesome. So we can only take what's in the article from Kalven, but I want to put some context into it in case you read the Kalven article, and we're going to do a spot next week on the report, I'm sure. Taking conservative approach, the percentage of ShotSpotter alerts that resulted in no case report being filed was a little over 85%, according to the MacArthur Justice Center. Now, that number's without context and incredibly squishy. Okay? What do you mean? What do I mean without context? First, what's the number, if you want context, what's the number of the average shooting incident before ShotSpotter where someone calls the police? How often, when the police respond and say, hey, there were shots fired in my block or in the alley behind my house, and cops respond, at what rate do they get there and everyone's gone? Now, if you believe that most or lots of the violence, I shouldn't even say that. If a lot of the violence involves people of color, mostly men, many of them gang affiliated or clique affiliated or are affiliated with some kind of illicit business, or just flat out not trusting the police department, if they're the shooter or the person shot at, and you're not if you're either one, especially if you're the person shot at and you're not hit, are you going to stick around and wait to talk to the police? We know communities of color don't trust the police department. So if you were just shot at and many times involved in illicit markets, are you going to stay around and talk to police? The answer is no. No. So I don't doubt that 85% number is right. What I don't understand is that any better or worse than the average? There's a shots fired call when someone calls 911. Is that better or worse? Because it could be that 90% of the time when people call 911 without a ShotSpotter alert, the police go and there's nothing and they don't write a report. And that with ShotSpotter, they're actually able to increase the amount they're able to write a report by 50%. That could even be statistically significant. We could argue whether it's relevant and whether it should be done, but it could be statistically significant. So without that number, I'm not sure what that means. 2, I want to get to this, and it's very important. The Adam Toledo shooting. The cops were alerted by ShotSpotter, but people called 911. So even without ShotSpotter, police were going to respond to the scene. So even if we got rid of ShotSpotter, it most likely would have made no difference. Cops were going to rush to that scene regardless. So I'm not sure if this is it, but it kind of, because it was written so close in time, and it talks a lot about the Adam Toledo shooting in the article, it kind of makes it seem like ShotSpotter was responsible for creating the circumstances solely, and they weren't. People called 911. I believe there were 2 or 3 calls. They were going there anyways. So I'm fine getting rid of ShotSpotter. I don't know how good it is, or at least having a real, open, transparent evaluation of what it does. But I'm not sure the numbers as quoted by Kalven really make a case either way. So I hope this report from the MacArthur Justice System does, MacArthur Justice Center, not system. I hope they do it. We're going to try to have Jonathan Maines or someone from the center on after the report is released to talk about it. But I have my questions. I'm not a fan of ShotSpotter, but I'm just not sure. First of all, I know it wouldn't have made almost likely no difference in the Adam Toledo circumstances. And it might be a reform that's needed, but I don't like connecting it to the Adam Toledo shooting, so I don't think it had much of a role.